Hi, hello. Passive Pixels, a media catch-up podcast, with the only host that you have for the main episodes, because no one else returns my calls, Edwin Castillo. Yeah, one of them. Not sure which one yet. I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Hey, guess what? I actually watched movies this last 2 weeks. Yeah, insane, I know. Completely unrelated as well, I bought a gaming PC that I'm mostly going to use for work and editing this. My current laptop could do it, but Papa Biden decided to roll up the dump truck of money, and I thought, why not? I've been telling myself to do this for a while. Why not? That comes in tomorrow, if Best Buy is to be believed. I'm kind of excited just because I get to use a keyboard and a mouse instead of whatever shitty setup that I have right now with a laptop and just a little wireless mouse that I use because it's the color red. And, well, I had to buy the keyboard and mouse red as well because that's just how it works. Hell, right now, just because I knew that I was going to be uncomfortable, instead of sitting on my sax case, I decided to move my office chair, my ridiculous gaming red and black chair, into the office right now. And I'm still sitting between sweatpants because, damn, these are some good insulation. Let's go into the topic list. We got Rick and Morty, seasons 3 and 4, Nier Gestalt, Goldfinger, Arrival, Sense 8, Yakuza 0, Stick of Truth, Grease, 13 Sentinels, Mad Men, the final episode of Season 2, and the opener to Season 3. Yeah, look at that. Well-rounded for once, and no books or board games. Look at me, I'm already improving. You know what? We're going to do things backwards for literally no other reason than to just change it up. We're going to do games, TV, then movies. Really, there's no point to this. I just feel like doing it. All right, we're even going to go backwards, I'm going to mention the last thing that I played and then talk about that. So, our first topic is going to be 13 Sentinels again. The last time that I played 13 Sentinels, it was about 4 hours in or so. I want to say I only put 2 more hours into it so far. Everything that I said is still pretty much true. I am very lost. I am still enjoying myself. I'm at least outside of the tutorial, so I can choose how I want to play, whether if I want to do more story things or if I want to then do the combat sections. The combat sections aren't exactly great. They're not horrendous. They do enough to keep me engaged and not feel that I'm being held off from the story and it's just a roadblock. So far, combat completely fine. The story is just an entire tangled web of mess, and honestly, I'm still okay with it. I really enjoy it. I'm not annoyed with it. I'm really enjoying the fact that every single time that I finish another section of the story, I'm still left with slightly more answers and slightly more questions. It honestly feels like I'm just playing Lost at this point, where I don't know what's going on. All I know is that I'm intrigued and that there's characters that I think I care about, so I don't mind following them through all of this. No real impressions yet, just sort of an update on where I am with that game. The next game, or actually, you know what, the game I played previous to this was South Park, The Stick of Truth. You know what, I'm going to give it the first best thing I've played over the last 2 weeks award. Congratulations, South Park. We're so proud of you for winning this completely pointless award. Wait, hold on. I just realized that I forgot the stupid gimmick I wanted to do this week, which is I'm going to score everything with a stupid point scale. My experience with 13 Sentinels over the last 2 weeks, I give it a Hmm. Hmm. I think I'm gonna give it a I need some friggin' answers out of 10. That feels like the right number. Back into South Park, The Stick of Truth. This was the previous game that I played prior to getting back into 13 Sentinels, and damn is The Stick of Truth so much fun. I always am up for more South Park humor. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are just incredible writers. Think about this. They've been doing this for about 2 decades of just making fun of literally everything, and they still can keep the same consistent quality the entire time. Sure, there are some episodes that are better, but whenever South Park lands, it lands hard, as if it were one of the old episodes. South Park The Stick of Truth just plays like a greatest hits of everything South Park up until that point. I mean, every single piece of this game that I read is almost guaranteed to make me laugh. There's so many references that it just feels like this was made completely not even by Matt Stone and Trey Parker themselves. It feels like it was made by almost someone who loves South Park more than they do. Look at that. I went into the deep end again. What is South Park: The Stick of Truth? South Park: The Stick of Truth is a semi-open world, turn-based action game? No, okay, not action game. Definitely turn-based, but... Okay, you know what? I'm going to consult the internet on this one just because I already feel like I'm getting muddled with genres. Okay. South Park: The Stick of Truth is a role-playing video game that is viewed from a 2.5D third-person perspective. Okay, you know what? Yeah, sure. An RPG. I can get behind that, but RPG is basically the bread spread too thinly across bread where literally anything you say is just an RPG. Hell, you can say that Call of Duty multiplayer is an RPG, and you'd have somewhat of an argument. Okay, let's break the fourth wall, just because I need to explain. I said bread spread too thinly across bread. I meant butter. What I do is that whenever I'm recording, I will literally just stop and then go back and listen to stuff. I can tell you right now, I could try and figure out how to say butter and then edit that into the sentence to make it work, but that sounds like more work, and this way I'm giving more content by explaining the process. Look at me, I'm making the best of every situation. South Park: The Stick of Truth is an RPG. There are sections where you can explore basically the entire city of South Park, and whenever you get into combat, it turns into a turn-based game. I think I'm also 5 or 6 hours deep into this game, and my god, it just felt like every other moment I'm laughing. I am so compelled to just do almost everything in this game just because I'm so ready for the next reference that they give me. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that member berries were after this game, just because it feels like this game would have been perfect with member berries in there, where you could literally have every single collectible that you find just have member this, member this. I mean, I found an Okama Game Sphere, and I found a crack pipe that Carton's mom had. I found Cherokee hair tampons. I found a goat that apparently they're like, is this Stevie Nicks? All of this is just such... I don't even think they're deep cuts, but I think that now age has passed enough that it feels like almost all these references can be considered deep cuts. I created a character. I tried to at least make it look similar to me. There are 4 classes that you can play in the game, which are the fighter, the thief, the mage, or the Jew. Now here's the thing. I'm playing South Park. Why the hell am I not gonna choose the Jew? That's the thing. I have not read into how the game works, but I would not be shocked if I get more dialogue options from Cartman because I choose the Jew. Okay, maybe not dialogue options, but I could see there being dialogue that Cartman doesn't say if you were to choose any of the other classes. Funny thing is that whenever I think about this game, I think about how Matt Stone and Trey Parker had actually never thought about what the city of South Park actually looks like. Whenever they're trying to transition from scene to scene, they just go, oh, well, this is this house, this is Stan's house, this is Kenny's house. And it wasn't until they had to map out this game that they were like, oh crap, we actually need to make all the parts of South Park fit. So it's been pretty enjoyable seeing how exactly they fit everything. Now, this game came out in 2014. I got to it pretty late, as I do almost everything else. The only reason I mention this is because I've dropped before my Game of the Year lists, and pretty much for 2014, the only thing that I have as my Game of the Year that year is PT, a little demo for a canceled Silent Hills project created by Hideo Kojima, who also created Metal Gear. Now, I can't foresee this game knocking that out, but still it's hilarious that a little demo was my Game of the Year, and even with how much I'm enjoying South Park, I can't even see this game dethroning PT for me. All things considered, I'm still enjoying it. If anyone has ever enjoyed South Park at some point, I can't recommend this enough. There's literally no other games coming out, so if you never played it initially, now's a good time. It's pretty cheap. I mean, it's almost 7 years old, so even if you play it on the PS3 or PS4, hell, even if you have it on PS5. Xbox, I assume exists. I still have no proof that they do, but I assume the game's on there too. After that, the game that I played previously from there is going to be Yakuza 0. I'm fine. I'm good. It's weird. I feel like I really did want to like this game. I gave it about 2 nights. I want to say in total of maybe about 4 or 5 hours, but there was just nothing that was hooking me. I think I enjoyed the characters. I think I enjoyed the No, wait, no, hold on. I don't think I like the presentation. The presentation to. Wait, no, hold on. I'm already getting deep in and I haven't even explained what Yakuza is. Yakuza is, I assume, a series focused on people who are in the Yakuza. Yakuza, of course, being basically the Japanese mafia. I haven't really looked into what Yakuza 1 through 7 are. I was only playing 0, and at least from 0, what it seems like is that you play as a dude who's in the Yakuza and you're just doing stuff. I assume it just depends on the story. I think in Yakuza 0, you're trying to absolve yourself from a murder that happened that has all the signs point to you, but I didn't even get too far because at some point the game told me to do something and I realized that it wants me to be curious of what I'm looking for, but at that point I just wasn't. Look, oh my god, I did it again. I went into my opinions instead of summary. Or did I? Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, I transitioned again. You see, like I said, pause and go back and listen to because I don't really pay attention to myself even as I do all this. Okay, so what is the game of Yakuza? Like, what are you actually going to be doing? Yakuza is a brawler, at least when it comes to the combat, and besides that, it's just a collection of mini games that you can play all across this small section of Japan. Most people try to summarize it as, oh, it's GTA, but it's in Japan, which is kind of doing a disservice because honestly, it's a small, compressed, open world where it takes place in Japan, except it is way more dense than it's sprawled out. And imagine if the whole draw of GTA was, oh, you can go to the golf course, or you can go and play on this crane machine. Yakuza feels like it's more focused on its side stories and its mini games that you can find than anything else. It feels like it's supposed to be a bit of a life simulator for Japan if you're not in Japan. Honestly, I might be talking out of my ass for this one because I've played 3 to 4 hours, and for some reason, I'm taking those 3 to 4 hours with the little bit of knowledge that I have of the rest of the series and extrapolating that into, 8 entries that might all equal about 50 hours plus each one? We're getting into grain of salt territory, at least when it comes to Yakuza. I feel like I at least summarized what exactly Yakuza is, so let's go into the complaints territory. I already mentioned presentation, so let's go into that. It feels like there were 4 different ways that I could be in a cutscene. One could be just 2 characters standing around in real time with the text below. There's another one where it's an actual flash or I don't really know how to describe it. It's just 2 characters that you can tell are actually in motion, but then they introduce camera angles, so it looks like it's supposed to be a cutscene. There's a whole bunch of text on the screen of their dialogue, but none of their lips are moving or anything like that. So it's just this character model breathing and simulating that they're alive and then text up saying what they're supposed to be saying. And then you have other ones where it's an actual cutscene. Like it actually has animations, faces move, and it has spoken dialogue. I feel like there's one missing, but I don't remember. There was just something weird to me about the transitions in cutscenes just because if this were a couple years ago, like maybe not a couple, if this were about a decade ago, I'd get it. Nowadays we're spoiled with cutscenes transition right into gameplay and back, but nowadays this feels weird. This is a weird limitation when I'm pretty sure they could have just gotten away with having full voiceover cutscenes whenever it was important, and then just defaulting to characters standing around and letting the text do all the work. It's that third in between where you have the character in real time breathe up and down, their lips don't move, but they still have dialogue coming up on the screen. It's a minor complaint, but when I'm really trying to get into a game and I'm not feeling it, these small little things start bothering me. My opinion about the combat is that it was fun enough. I don't feel like I'd ever play a horde mode of it. I just thought, okay, this is serviceable. It allows the ridiculousness to get really ramped up. I'm okay with it, but it's not going to be the main draw. As long as it isn't in my way for a story that I care about, I'd be okay with it, but then we get into the story. I don't know what it is. I just couldn't get a feel for any of the characters. I kind of got that the main dude just doesn't seem like he ever smiles. He is a bit stoic. His best friend or brother, or I don't really remember what the relationship is. I assume they're brothers through circumstance. Even when I stop and think about it, I'm having trouble exactly figuring out what kind of person he is outside of loyal to your main character. Of course, I'm pretty sure 3 to 4 hours in a game that is probably triple digits might be an issue, but I try to be very forgiving when I try new games. I am willing to give a game up to 2 hours. If there is something that is even mildly interesting to me within those 2 hours, I will keep trying to give it another night to see if there's something that hooks me. The first night, I played it for 2 hours. I thought, okay, yeah, this is good. I'll keep playing. I'll give it another night and see if something hooks me. I played it for one more night. I was getting ready to wrap it up and tell myself, okay, it's probably going to go to a third day. Once I get to a third day of being unsure, I've already spent 3 nights on it. There's no way that I'm going to go back and do more. By the time that I was done with the second night that I dedicated to it, the game told me, hey, you need to go get information on this person. I was a real estate broker, and it dumped me into the open world. I didn't have a mini map telling me where to go, and there was nothing in me that felt like, you know what, I want to find out what's going on with this real estate broker. There was nothing. I just kept thinking, man, I really don't want to do this. I'm not curious about this. I went into every location. There was a Sega shop. I went in there and there was a whole bunch of arcade games. And I was thinking, I don't want to do any of this. I left. I talked to a dude who's a fake out artist where he throws matches so he can then win them and make money off of people. And I just didn't care about anything he was saying. He was saying like, oh, you want to scam people? And I just didn't want to. Every single place that I could go into had some sort of mini game or something to interact with, and nothing about it compelled me. There was a karaoke mini game that's basically a rhythm game, and yes, I suck at it, but still, there was nothing to make me want to go back to it. The music video that plays in the background is fun, but I'm too focused on the buttons that I wouldn't be able to enjoy that. Not that, a music video behind a rhythm game would be enough to make me want to keep playing, but it's still a complaint nonetheless. All I know is that Yakuza 0 just left me with a lack of drive to do anything that it presented for me. And once I realized that I didn't feel like playing it, I'm not going to force myself to play something that I don't want to play. So, Yakuza 0 is a drop. I probably won't go back to it or the series. Okay, next game. I finally finished Nier Gestalt. I even got the platinum. It was about 70 to 73 hours. I did it. I'm done. Spoiler cast for Nier Gestalt. I don't know when. I just know it's planned. I'd like to try and get it before Nier Replicant comes out, but I still need to do a little bit more research into the extended universe stuff for Nier Gestalt, including the short stories, the plays, and the short novellas based on it that include extra details. I want to be sure if I do a spoiler cast, I include all that info. So, with that being said, I'm not going to talk about the story. I am instead going to talk about my opinions for the game when it comes to actually beating it and the trophy hunt. Man, these trophies suck. Oh my god. Oh my god, there was so much grinding. Why did I have to kill so many things over and over again and leaving and then coming back? Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop myself right there. Why did I have to do all this? No, I didn't have to do all this. I know, okay, trophy hunting is pointless. But you understand that I really like Nier. I need to get these trophies. So then, okay, now I'm just leading myself into another pointless argument of, ooh, I should get the trophies for Nier to show that I'm a true fan. You see? I understand this is all pointless, but then again, we can keep following this line of logic and say that everything is pointless, okay? The only thing that's actually needed is water and food and shelter, okay? So shut up, this is needed, okay? To some degree. Okay, now that I justified my bitching, I will continue. Man, why do I have to keep going into places? Why is there no item or something or some way to guarantee that I get what I need? There is just so much killing of enemies and leaving the place and coming back in and then killing them again and hoping that they drop the right thing. It's funny because the story is so antithetical to that it feels wrong. Okay, hold on. Let me roll it back. Okay. Now that I think about it, it actually fits. So never mind. Roll that back. Just ignore that first line. But anyways, oh my god. I am very glad that I probably never have to touch this game again, because once Nier Replicant comes out, I will still have such a strong memory of Nier Gestalt that I will never have to worry about, oh, what's different between these? I've played this game enough that now it is forever ingrained into my head. Every single song track ingrained, which thankfully is an ingrainment I will be happy with. The gameplay is still bad. It's not horrendous to make me want to quit, but it's bad where it just feels super mindless. It doesn't feel like it's balanced. The story in A run is good. The story in B run makes it very good. The lead up to ending C and D are just so annoying. They are possibly the most grinding that I've ever had to do in a game, which I'm pretty sure now, considering that I made myself do all the side quests, is probably what didn't help. And even with knowing that I need to get all the weapons to unlock those final two endings, it still was not fun to even get the trophy to upgrade every single weapon to their highest degree. It's, oh my god, it's just so much effort in this game to platinum it, and not even just to platinum it, it's still so much effort to actually even get to the final actual endings of the game. I have so much hopes for Replicant to fix all these issues, but at the end of the day, I still don't think that Replicant will ever touch Automata in how good it is. I could see certain aspects doing so, but there is no universe that I can possibly exist in where Replicant will be even on the same level as Automata. I will still be very excited for it because, honestly, it's already my game of the year just because they released another remix of Kaine. If you go look for the initial trailer for this game, the remix to the song Kaine, where it's just an acapella, oh my god, it's beautiful. It's enough for me to go game of the year for this one already. It also probably doesn't help that there isn't that much that's coming out this year, so I feel safe in saying that's probably my game of the year. Nier Gestalt. I finally have the platinum. I beat it. There are spoilers. Nope, I can't say that. Just know that, man, once Replicant comes out, you will play Nier Gestalt if you are ever curious to see what the original release looked like. But man, I can't recommend this game. I really can't. All right, that's the game section out of the way. We're going to go ahead and go into TV now. I'm going to still do this backwards order, which honestly, it's kind of breaking my head a little bit. I'm used to reading top to bottom, and now I'm reading my list from bottom to top, so I just keep having to remind myself to change my dialogue whenever I talk about it too. Okay, here we are. Mad Men season finale to season 2, and the season opener to season 3. The good thing is that I'm still going to keep watching it. There's no reason for me to stop. The ending of season 2 was very good. Mild spoilers just because there's at least one scene that I want to talk about. 3, 2, 1. Campbell finding out that he had a kid while he knows that he can't have a kid with his wife right now, and they also can't adopt, and knowing that at the same time as learning that he has a kid, at the same time that he will have no chance to ever actually raise his own kid, whether if it's Peggy's or with his current wife. God, that's just such a complex emotion, and that actor nails it. I don't know how you give direction besides literally just saying all of that and then telling them to portray that. Okay, spoiler done. I'll timestamp it. Season 2, I really do feel like it was a bit of a sophomore slump. There isn't too much to season 2 that I like more than what I did in 1. It was still enjoyable. Once again, writing is strong as hell. The opening to season 3 feels like they're about to get really weird, and it feels like it's getting way more into what is now what we expect from the golden age of television. There's this trippy scene where Dawn is having a flashback to what I assume is his mom and how, well, his stepmom, and it feels really experimental, and I'm really in for it. I'm kind of hoping that it feels like the pace maybe picks up a little bit, but even if it's not, if they keep doing more stuff like this, I am still way in to what's going on. Mad Men Season 3, I'll keep getting to it. That's pretty much it. I don't have anything additional to add. Revisiting another topic. Rick and Morty Season 3 and 4. I finished it. Thank God. Rick and Morty is now out of my life. I still cannot stand this show. Most of it just grates on me. It feels like it's nihilistic just because it wants to be nihilistic, but not nihilistic because it's fun. I honestly could just repeat everything that I said previously, except now I have maybe another bright spot. I enjoyed that in season 4, it felt like Rick actually cared about Beth. I like that, but after about 4 seasons of him being the biggest nihilist ever, it doesn't ring true, but I can still appreciate that it felt like it was done pretty well. Besides that, I'm just so glad to finally be done with this show. I can say now without a fact, man, I do not like this. I don't think Justin Roiland is for me. I'm going to watch Community, and I still hope that I like it, but man, if people hold up Rick and Morty this high, no. I don't even know where that sentence was going. I'm just going to say no. Oh, I forgot one of my gimmicks, so let's circle back. 13 Sentinels, I gave I need some friggin' answers out of 10. I'm going to go ahead and give Stick of Truth a pretty good writing out of 10, or even an Okama Game Sphere out of 10. You know what? That's a score I'm going to go with. An Okama Game Sphere out of 10. I'm going to give Yakuza 0 a Kiria out of 10. I feel like that's an appropriate score. From there, I should probably give Nier Gestalt a Song of the Ancients. Is possibly one of the greatest songs ever composed out of 10. I think that's a fair score. I'm going to give Mad Men season finale a 2 and opening of season 3. I'm going to give that a Smoke-Covered Room and Cheating on Your Spouse out of 10. That's a pretty prestigious score, if I do say myself, you know. Rick and Morty seasons 3 and 4. You know what? No, just the entire show. I'm going to give Rick and Morty, the entire series up to this point, I think I'm going to give it an edge out of 10. We're going to go for edge out of 10. Okay, my brain is starting to hurt by going backwards, so I'm going to go from movies from what I watched earlier in the month to now, just because my brain is starting to break a little bit by going backwards. This was a bad idea. Speaking of bad ideas, are the joke scores a bad idea? I'm enjoying them. So even if I get feedback saying that they're stupid and get rid of them, I think I'm going to keep them. I'm having fun. Okay, going into movies. The first movie that I watched was Goldfinger, one of the old James Bond movies that still starred Sean Connery. Now, what did I think about this movie? I love it. Oh my God. Oh, it's so cheese. I'm pretty sure it was very serious and that's the right word. Very serious in the 1960s. And oh my God, we are just so far away from this that the cheesiness of it, I love it. There's nothing about this movie I would change. Oh my God, Bond just treating every single woman like an object. Hilarious. All of them just completely being like, well, I mean, it's Sean Connery. How are you not going to love this man? The quick jump between the car hitting the wall, and the wall is like basically made out of styrofoam, and they cut out frames so it looks like there's an actual impact. Why is there a hidden room inside a water tower that Bond needs to blow up? Oh my God, I love this movie. There's just so much cheese. We got pussy galore. We got we got Oddjob throwing a hat. Oddjob throws a hat at a woman, and I'm just like, oh, I guess she's knocked out. But no, Oddjob killed a woman with a hat. I love this. Every single woman, as soon as they lay eyes on Sean Connery, they're like, I'm about to throw it all for this man right here, right now. and no one's gonna stop me. That moment when they run into that woman who's been smothered in gold, I really thought that they were like, she got encased in gold, But no, they said that it was suffocation of the skin, but no. I still prefer to think that they're like, no, she was encased in solid gold and she was entrapped in there and entombed, because that fits cheesier better. And oh my God. It's so weird to be gushing about these movies because this one came out in 64, so we are more than half a century away from this? Yeah, no, more than half a century away. So I'm discovering this as if it were new, and I know there's people who might be listening to this going, dude, how are you this late to it? Look, I'm enjoying myself. I love this so much. I can't wait to see where Bond takes me after this. What else do I love? Oh, I love it when Goldfinger decides to smoke out all the people that he invited, and all of them throw themselves like, okay, I can't hurt myself too hard. And even when they drop the smoke on the armies nearby, all of them even do the same thing. I remember seeing one soldier who, as he falls, he holds the helmet down, and oh my God, I can't stop ending my sentences by saying, oh my God, this is just so good, because whenever I think about it, it just brings me so much joy knowing that this exists. We have 1960s Goldfinger Bond just being everything that we could ever want. There's a character named Pussy Galore, and they do it with a straight face. How can you not love this movie? Come on. You're gonna tell me that you don't love Bond looking at this bomb going, oh crap, how am I gonna defuse this? And then someone just walks in like, bro, you tried flipping a switch? You're telling me that you don't love them fighting in a plane and Goldfinger just comedically gets sucked out of this small window? Oh my God, this is gold. This is Goldfinger. I hate myself for that pun, but I'm not gonna cut it out. I'm not. Okay. We're going to go into a little bit more serious movies, I guess. But, man, GoldenEye is something. Why did I say? Okay, I feel like I've said GoldenEye a couple of times. I'll probably hear it while I'm editing. But just know, I mean Goldfinger. If I said GoldenEye, ignore that. I did mean Goldfinger. Okay, from there, I finally finished watching all of Denis Villeneuve's movies. And my last movie to watch was Arrival. Denis Villeneuve don't miss. Okay? Denis Villeneuve, do not miss. Arrival is yet another banger of his. This is such a good sci-fi movie. I love the focus that it has on communication. I love that the final question that it leaves you with is something that I really wasn't expecting. The question being, is it better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all? And it's I don't think it's a thread that's pulled through the entire movie, but it's something that at the very end is just a very hard question with the way that the movie asks. I love the focus that it has on communication and how important that is. Oh man, I feel like I need to watch it again, because even right now as I'm thinking about it, it feels like maybe there is that theme of better to have loved or lost throughout the rest of it, but the communication is truly the biggest part of Arrival. I mean, you have the aliens who are here for a very stated purpose. They specifically did mention what their purpose is, and it's up to us as humans to be able to understand that maybe some things are as simple as they should be. Honestly, I think I remember some people saying that they saw this twist coming, which, you know what, maybe I'm just dumb and decide not to read into it too far, but man, that final twist really did throw me off. If there's one thing I can complain about is that I really just could not stand Forrest Whitaker's character. It just always felt like he was talking at the wrong time. I don't mean that he was interjecting in between sentences at weird times. I mean, it felt like what he was saying were completely besides the actual conversation that was going on. It felt like anytime that he said something, he was just a passerby saying something that is somewhat related. He heard maybe a couple of words that were going on and decided, oh, I'm going to jump into this, and then not realizing that he's on a completely different topic as everyone else. This man is an imbecile. I couldn't stand this man, and I don't think like that's the way it's supposed to be read. It just feels like this man is just completely ignoring the things that were in front of him, which that might be the actual point, but if you watch it, pay attention to what he says and does. It just never seems to fit. There's obviously the dumb military person that doesn't understand what the scientists and the linguists are saying, but it still feels like they are laying it out for you pretty hard with why this is important, but you completely are besides the point. You're not rebutting them. You're just going in a completely different direction that almost felt off topic to what's being talked about. I'm just impressed by this movie. It just is a very human portrait of how some people are just willing to trust more and how some people are willing to attack at a moment's notice. The message at the end of this movie being that communication is key sounds incredibly simplistic for the movie, but the movie does it with so much style that you don't really mind that it's a message being one that you've heard pretty often. I'm also impressed with the writing because the twist for this movie, it did require a steady hand to not give it away. I love that the twist plays out with the medium of how movies are told, being able to slip back and forth between different things. I'm not going to mention specifically what because I don't want to spoil it, but I love the way it transitions between things and not letting you realize that the truth is in front of you this entire time until they actually reveal some extra key information. Not only that, of course, Denis Villeneuve always knows how to pick a cinematographer. The shots in this movie are gorgeous. The use of color and light is beautiful. This movie is another one that is pretty good to show off your TV. Not so much the sound system, but it's a good one to show off on your TV, especially if you're showing it to people who haven't watched this movie. I decided to look up what the Chinese phrase was from the end of the movie. I'm not going to try and go into more details about that, but the phrase apparently is, "War doesn't make winners, only widows." Honestly, I'm super positive on this movie. I'm going to keep it in my collection. At some point, I'll rewatch it, and I think I might have deeper thoughts. But for now, I just leave with this. Denis Villeneuve, do not miss. I cannot wait for Dune. Oh my god, I'm very excited. Man, I am all kinds of messed up. I realized that I got through 2 movies, and I missed a show. Sense8. I finally decided to watch Sense8. What is Sense8? It is, I assume, a TV show where there are 8 people who are all interconnected from this one woman who blasts her brain out. And the only reason it even got on my list, not my list of what I watched, but on my list of want to watch, is because of the Wachowskis. I'm just going to call them Wachowskis because I swear if I start getting into pronouns, I'm going to mess something up. And I don't need to get canceled, 5 episodes into this series, so I'm just going to call them Wachowskis to stay safe. The Wachowskis, obviously, if you don't know who they are, they made The Matrix, the entire trilogy, as well as the Animatrix. Well, not exactly the whole Animatrix. They let other people tell stories within the Animatrix, but I put it on their resume as well. And they also did Speed Racer. And now here's the thing. I love all 5 of those projects. I love them all. I know there are people who don't like the Matrix sequels. I'm sorry. Listen, at some point, the Matrix trilogy will get an episode, including the Animatrix. So I'm sorry. You can skip that episode whenever I get to it. They have made many other movies that I have not watched, but for me, I feel like I want to give them a chance for their TV show because of how much I enjoyed The Matrix and Speed Racer, that I want to give them a shot with the longest project that they have instead of one of the movies that they made that were received softly. I'll probably spoil a couple of things, but I'm 1 episode in, so I don't think I'll be breaking things in general while talking about it. That being said, Sense8. Wow, that was a wet-ass dildo. Oh my god, why was that thing so soaked? There's a scene where there are these two lesbians going at it, and she takes off the strap-on that she's wearing, and she just drops it, and that thing leaves like at least a puddle on the hardwood floor. And, well, first off, hardwood floor, you probably shouldn't do that. That's gonna soak. I'm worried about that hardwood floor. But oh my god, did they really have to specifically make that thing as soaked as it is? I get it, realism, but Jesus, that you could roll it back a little bit. You don't need to make it look like you just pulled it out of a Jello cup, of petroleum jelly. Like, you don't need to go that far. But hey, you know what? I didn't make The Matrix. I didn't make Speed Racer, so maybe you know what you're doing, Wachowskis. So far, it feels like a very good pilot. It feels like if you compressed half of Lost Season 1, where you had a whole bunch of different characters explaining who they are and a bit about them. It felt like if you took that and then compressed it into one pilot where it just feels overstuffed, where I really couldn't get a feel for any of the characters. But then again, I'm spending about 5 to 10 minutes with 8 of them across an entire episode. I actually really enjoy the transitions, though, that they had from character to character, where you're supposed to be hinted towards the shared nature between them. I love how the Australian character shows up in front of the cop and they have an actual conversation. She's tripping out on drugs, so even if she doesn't realize that what's going on is actually really happening, the cop is still in the right mood to actually be able to talk to her. I'm really enjoying so much of this, even though it feels like it is subpar. It feels like the pieces that are hitting hard are hitting the right chord with me, even if I don't think the actual overall product is that good. So far, it's also kind of weird that the very ending of it has an entire shootout. It feels like that was a pilot thing where they're like, oh, we forgot to actually add a hook to why you should keep watching. You see all these people shot at each other. Aren't you curious now? Which is weird because you would think that it's the Wachowskis working with Netflix. If it's the Wachowskis, you can just slap creators of The Matrix on anything and Netflix should be able to put a green light on it. I mean, they've greenlit in 13 Reasons Why. There's no reason why the Wachowskis can't get some of that Netflix money. There's another transition that I like where there's one character who is near rain and one of the other characters halfway across the world is like, oh, I need to grab my umbrella. And characters are all looking at her like, you're insane. And she's like, no, what are you talking about? I heard thunder. Like, I need to grab an umbrella if I'm going to head out. It also feels like it was a broad brush drawn on these characters, but I'm willing to forgive it for now just because I have to imagine that they're drawing them with a broad enough brush for a pilot. So then whenever you get into the show, you don't have to waste too much trying to integrate these people into each other. There is no problem with writing with tropes as long as you then build up off of them. I will happily get back to it. So from there, Sense8, another TV show that I will be watching. No idea at what frequency I'll be watching, just because Mad Men is starting to kick back up. But Mad Men is a shared thing between me and my wife. Sense8 is probably something that I'll watch for myself, just so there's something to watch whenever she's not around. Okay, we're finally at the final topic, the final movie that I watched recently. First off, hi Dad. I'm sorry if I sent you this link. Please don't mention this when we see each other. I know by the sheer fact that I said that means you're going to, but it already feels awkward enough knowing that you might be listening to this, so let's not make it too much worse, yeah? Besides, it's about to get weird. I'm about to draw it into a Japanese game that you've never heard of. I'll try to nicely organize it so that's at the end, so once you start hearing the word persona pop up, you can probably just jump out. Continuing the train of my dad actually has some taste in movies, and it took me maybe a decade plus to accept that. We watched Grease. I invited them over. We watched Grease. Okay, I do want feedback on this one. What is it, if you like Grease, that you like about Grease? For me, what I keep coming back to is that it just feels so poppy and absurd that I can't help but love it. The music isn't exactly something I'd listen to, but it's so weird. Whenever I was thinking about musicals in general, whenever you think about music in a musical, they usually propel the story forward. At least that's what good musicals do. But I don't think they really do that in this movie. Occasionally they'll delve deeper into how a character's feeling, and that's okay. But in my head, I'm thinking of Beauty School Dropout, which is for Frenchie, which she's a side character that doesn't really get any development besides this, and she gets a song. it feels really pointless, but I remember telling my dad as I finished this movie thinking, if you think about it, this movie falls apart. And this movie's just so fun that I don't want to poke holes in it. It's just so lovable that I will accept whatever it wants to give me because it's just so fun. I also love that the song is the give up on your dream song. That's basically what the guardian angel is telling Frenchie. Just look, you suck at hairstyling. It's not for you. Go back to school, try something else. Give up on your dreams. It's hopeless. I feel like I need some organization when talking about Grease, because if not, I'm just going to go everywhere. So I'm just going to go for each song. Let's go ahead and start with Summer Nights. Summer Nights, watch. I feel like just because I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to end up going back on my word with saying, oh, none of the songs move the plot forward. And that's mostly because I was thinking of Beauty School Dropout. But hey, Summer Nights. Summer Nights is a very good way to introduce the characters. You have both the greasers and you have the pink ladies. It's a very good table setter. You get to understand who the differences that the two groups have. Honestly, it singles out Rizzo because she's the only one that's really skeptical of everything that was being said. Besides that, it just kind of seems like the rest of them fall in line to whatever Sandra or Danny want to say. I don't think there's a single song in this movie that I'd listen to separately, except probably Hopelessly Devoted to You. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Since I'm already following the order of the movie, I should probably start mentioning that Danny's a horrible person. He's not a good guy. This man just constantly treats Sandy badly. He completely decides to ignore her and to keep up appearances for the T-Birds, but just at every single time that he's with her, it just feels like he's intentionally going in like, how am I going to screw up Sandy's day today? What is my plan for that? Whether if it's him pretending that he doesn't recognize her or the fact that he tries to move on her really quickly at the drive-in theater, or even him just still continuing to dance even though Sandy just disappeared. Danny is a horrific person that doesn't deserve Sandy, and Sandy's just being hopelessly devoted to him is just one of the things that annoys me because she's just such a joy in this that I can't help but think, Danny, you idiot, you suck, you don't deserve her. There's nothing you've done to deserve her. Ugh, that's just something I was thinking the entire movie. I was like, I'm just so annoyed with your existence. And is it just a pattern with older movies that it seems like the guy can be an absolute idiot, but at the end of the movie he's still like, but he has a good heart? Like, no, there's nothing Danny has done to deserve that happy ending at the end, okay? Sandy should have become a greaser and then been like, I'm better than you now, and then just left him. But that's the problem. It's like I said, if you think about it too hard, the movie falls apart, okay? So stop thinking, Danny, he's just a stupid kid, you know? He's gonna mess up. Take him back, Sandy, and then fix him, and please don't divorce him in a couple of years. At least Rizzo, on the other hand, starts off mean to Sandy, and at the end you can kind of tell that she does like Sandy. Then we've got the next song. Look at Me, I'm Sandra D. Like I said earlier, it doesn't move the plot along, but it does express how a character feels. And Rizzo, from the opening song with Summer Nights, you can kind of tell that she's iffy about Sandy. And it isn't until this song that it becomes super apparent that she's like, ugh, Sandy, I can't stand her. She's a goody two-shoes. I don't like her. I don't even know why we let her into the Pink Ladies. It's a fun song, but, you know, I'm okay with it. It fits good in the movie, but I don't think I'd ever listen to it by myself. Oh, ever. How? Ever Hopelessly Devoted to You. Oh my god, Olivia Newton-John kills it. This is absolutely a song that you could just release separately from the movie and it would have succeeded. I truly do believe that. Do I have any stats to back it up to see if it actually happened or not? No, I leave that to the old people. I don't remember stuff like this. Honestly, talking about it right now makes me want to listen to it. It's that good of a song. But then again, like I said, if you think about the movie, then she's probably singing this song literally every time that Danny screws up. Okay, I gotta stop. Take the movie at face value, just have fun. By the way, side note, just because I started thinking about this once we got into the sex scene at what I assume is a makeout point, I really resent the PG-13 rating. I really do. I miss PG movies that could go a little bit risque, but they didn't drop the F-bomb, so then they didn't go to rated R. I do miss PG-13s that push the envelope a little bit more, because now we're getting PG-13 movies nowadays that don't push far enough. And if they get even close to an R, they just avoid it because it's going to cut through their box office. At least back in the day, a PG movie wasn't what it is now, which is just a slightly harder G instead of a good in-between that for some reason PG-13 isn't filling. Once again, sorry Dad, it just sort of seems like this is how my thought processes go. This isn't exactly the place for me to get to the point very quickly outside of me saying I very much like it, don't think about it too hard. Next song up, we got Grease Lightning, which this is one that I think fits into the category of Beauty School Dropout, which this really doesn't tell us anything we didn't know already. Obviously, they're very excited about a car. Obviously, they're going to be excited about setting it up. Truth be told, the only reason that I wouldn't eliminate this song is because the Chicks Will Cream is just such an iconic line that, like I said, PG used to push harder than PG-13. To be able to get a PG movie that says the Chicks Will Cream is just such a great line that I would never want to cut it, ever. Somewhat non sequitur. Is the same Grease Lightning that was in the music video that they do? Okay, not music video. Their, performance? Song? I don't know what to call it. I'm just going to say music video and I'm going to be wrong. Their dance routine. I'm just going to say dance routine. Performance. Oh my God, just pick one. Musical scene. I'm just going to say musical scene, okay? That's where I'm going to land on. Is the same Grease Lightning from the musical scene that they have the same Grease Lightning at the end? I could swear that there was small little details off, but I think I might be overthinking it. But that's the name of the game. Grease is not about overthinking. It's about enjoying the music, enjoying the characters, and just going through. Please stop thinking about it. The good thing is that after the Grease Lightning scene, we at least get to see Danny try to be a decent human being for a little bit. He notices that Sandy isn't exactly into the greaser type, so he actually tries to branch out into different things, which, by the way, him just failing to do normal things that normal high schoolers do is just so entertaining. I really did enjoy that. Most of the time, they won't let protagonists look dorky or loserish, but they totally let Danny just get his ass beat so many times with everything that coach makes him try. And it's just very entertaining. This is one of those things that even if you put thought into it, it's just still super funny. However, it still seems like Danny doesn't learn his lesson because even... Okay, no. Stop it. They go on a date, their friends crash it, we get Beauty School Dropout, which, once again, feels really pointless, but I still love it because, like I said earlier, the Give Up on Your Dream song. That's hilarious. Did people already try to cancel Grease? I remember that people tried to cancel it over the did she put up a fight line in Summer Nights, which, little creepy. I'm not going to disagree, but I'm not going to agree with canceling just because it's a different time. There's no reason to go back and cancel things that already exist. But did anyone try to cancel the reporter that is hitting on potentially underage girls? I mean, this is hilarious. Regardless, if they try to cancel it, I'd probably get mad just because I really enjoy that character. He's hilarious. I mean, it's wrong, yes, but that doesn't stop it from being funny. Another thing, man, Danny's friends suck. They totally pull Sandy away and just get Danny in trouble by having him dance with Cha-Cha. Do you see? It's another thing where if you think about it, it's just horrendous because that's something that Danny would go to his friends and be like, you absolute fools, you idiots. You're ruining my chances with the one girl I like and you're tossing me in with my ex. What is wrong with you? But then again, don't think about it. It's a fun movie and we're going to have fun, damn it, okay? We're not going to start thinking about the fact that that's probably a huge betrayal of friends, but listen, it's fun, damn it. Somehow Sandy forgives him again, which okay, you see how hard it is for me to not think? This isn't the movie for thinking. This is just go with the flow, but it just feels like every other scene I'm finding something to want to complain about, but it's so overridingly fun that I decide to let it go. Drive-In, I could talk about different things. I'm instead just going to talk about this one little transition from one location to another that I very much enjoy. You hear that Rizzo is pregnant, and they have the entire lineup of characters talk from one end to when the information was delivered, all the way to Rizzo hearing about the own news she just mentioned about a minute and a half ago. That's just good filmmaking. That's just very good blocking. That's very good staging. That's just good stuff of how to show how quickly word travels. The two songs that are here are Alone at the Drive-In Movies and Sandy. Now, here's the thing. I can't remember these two songs. I really don't. Sandy, the only reason I remember that song is because I really enjoyed the cinematography of John Travolta in front of the smoky light of the projector. That's about what I remember. Another song that I don't really care about is the There Are Worse Things I Can Do, which is the Rizzo being like, hey, it's okay if I'm a whore, just please ignore it. She has pipes on her. There's no problem with that, but I don't know. Just these three songs feel like if they got cut out, I don't think I'd have an issue with. We got the racing scene in what I assume are the sewers of LA. I don't know. Whatever the T-1000 was chasing John Connor down in Terminator 2, whatever that is just such a cool place to me that you could probably even have a tea party there and I'd still be enthralled by whatever I'm watching. The race, for some reason, just feels like very old Hollywood to me. I haven't watched too many movies that would be considered old Hollywood, but it just felt like that very classical style of you're in the theater because you want to watch things that would be dangerous if you did in real life. And there's something about that race that captures that, even though it's nothing too crazy. I mean, the fact that they slow-mo whenever John Travolta takes the jump over, that is kind of emblematic of that feeling. I have no real complaints about it. I just really enjoy it. I don't have to think about it and have things ruined for me. The ending is where it makes me feel like, okay, this is absolutely the movie that I'm not supposed to think about. I mean, Rizzo just out of nowhere is like, yeah, I wasn't pregnant. And not only that, just you have Sandy show up and just go, hey, yeah, I'm exactly what you need me to be now. Which, you know what, truth be told, at least Danny did have a Letterman jacket, which shows that he was committed enough to Sandy to stick with it. I'll give him credit for that, but he screwed up so much with this movie that him still being committed to track for Sandy doesn't exactly feel like it excuses mostly everything, because I still see him screwing up like this again. Hell, maybe if he gets away from his friends, maybe he'll actually be a better person, but I'm not holding my breath because it feels like this entire movie is trying to, okay, you see, that's what I'm doing again. You think too hard about the movie and then you start thinking beyond the movie, and I don't want to do that. I just want this movie to stay fun. I got chills, they're multiplying, okay? And I want to keep them multiplying. I really enjoyed this movie. And after this, I've got Saturday Night Fever. Honestly, at some point I need to ask my dad what else is next, because I'm starting to run out of the movies that I can remember him liking. So far, his movie tastes, we go together like shibida chip chang chang changada changada pop. Bam. Nailed it. Okay, this is where we're going to start getting weird. Persona. Hear me out. Persona, I talked about it. High School Simulator, JRPG, hear me out. Take the Grease IP, make a Persona knockoff game. You can either play as Danny or you can play as another character, just some nameless character. You go to this school, and instead of the JRPG sections when you take part in turn-based battles, make it a rhythm game instead. But you still have the social aspects of a Persona game. You can decide if you're going to go and join the track team. You can join the wrestling team. You can join the glee club. Screw it. Why not add it? You gotta pick a waifu. You gotta. You're going to go for the obvious choice of Cha-Cha or Sandy. You're going to go for the tough exterior but soft on the inside Rizzo. Personally, I think Frenchie would be a good choice for waifu. Pretty close. I like this idea. I really do. I need someone to make this so I can play it. Now, that's just one scattered thought that I had. The other scattered thought I had was, did Grease invent what the 1950s looked like on film? Or did they nail the 1950s so hard that Back to the Future just went, yeah, why would we change anything? It's funny because around the time of the dance, I couldn't help but separate this movie from Back to the Future, that I almost told myself that when my parents left, I was just going to watch Back to the Future again. I really need to watch Back to the Future again. I bought it in 4K, I bought the Steelbook, and it's just sitting there for whenever I'm ready for it. This might be the time, but don't hold me to it. Okay, yeah, that's the episode. That's the list. I have no idea if the microphone picked that up, but I just tossed my other phone because I don't have a good reason. Special episodes Whiplash next time.